Hey guys, Adam from BC Fig and Fruit Orchard in Bergen County, Zone 6B, and today is July 16th. And I just wanted to go over my mid-season progress with my in-ground fig trees and let you know on what's going on with our new trees that we air layered and how they're doing. And one more important thing, the secret to getting figs out of my fig trees. And the secret is out. The secret is right here. Here's Kona. Kona! She guards all my fig trees, makes sure no deer jump the fence, and protects them with her life. That is the secret to my fig trees. Okay, here's some air layers that I just completed this week from some of my other trees for some of my good friends in the area in New Jersey. Some other figaholics that are interested in obtaining some more fig trees. We have Petite Negra. We have one of the Sale Miguel Roxo. And an Adriatic JH. And another Sale Miguel Roxo. And most of you are wondering why there's no leaves on these or figs. As you can see, it's starting to green out on the branches. What I like to do is to take all the figs and the leaves off in order to concentrate on developing root growth, which is the most important thing with my air layers. When I give my air layers to my friends, I want to make sure their roots are strong. This way they'll get a lot of figs the following year. So that's why I cut off the figs and the leaves for the first season in order to develop root growth. And you'll see this is a second season cutting from an air layer, and it's just doing beautifully. Okay, let's take a walk. Here's one of the Ronde Bordeaux that I put in the ground for next year. We're going to grow our Ronde Bordeaux in the ground right next to the saltwater pool in order to get a Mediterranean tasting fig. And here's one of the trees that my good friend Tommy LaPiccolo just gave me from his Italian family's farm in Italy. And it's doing great. And this is a Babbo from his grandfather. Named his own tree from Italy, from his farm. And it's, as you can see, it's producing well and beautiful. Okay, let's take a walk back to the fig orchard. What a beautiful day, a little bit of overcast. See how our brown turkey's doing. We've gotten so many brebbas off this brown turkey this year, and the regular season fruit is coming in well, as you can see. It's just everywhere. Some tomatoes growing there. And we have our Petite Negra, which is loaded with beautiful figs. Just growing everywhere, as you can see. Every branch. We'll probably get 100 figs off this tree this year. And again, that is because it is in the ground, being fertilized naturally by the earth and with a little help. Here's our Rockaway Green. And as you can see, the figs are just coming in nice and big. And the leaves are so vigorous. What a healthy tree. I did an air layer for my friend Tommy LaPiccolo off of here. Nice big air layer with a lot of figs on it, and look at it already. Within 2 weeks, we have new growth where we cut the old air layer. And what a tree. This is one of my favorite trees for producing figs and being cold hardy. Look at the size of those figs. And we have our 2-year-old Chicago Hardy, which is just putting out leaves and some figs everywhere. And we're hoping that this is going to be a big producer for us next year. It's going to again stay in the ground. And moving back to the main fig orchard, let's check out. Here's my security force coming by, making sure she protects all the trees. Kona, Kona, say hi. She protects this property with her life. She's trained. Look at that beautiful peach tree I have, Jersey peach tree. That's going to give us so much fruit next year. And we got a couple new cuttings that we're growing here. Black missions and some Texas everbearings that we're growing down the line in buckets for mass production. And our Black Beauty 10 is doing great. Not putting a lot of fruit out this year. I see a couple on there, but it's in its growth spurt since I put it in the ground, and it's rooting well, and the leaves are beautiful. Just a beautiful tree, this Black Beauty 10. Oh, we got one down there coming in. So we'll get a couple figs out of this, probably late September, early October. But I wanted to concentrate on growth this year with that tree first. We have our beautiful secret. This tree is putting out so much fruit. I cannot believe the amount of fruit and the size of the fruit that this tree is putting out for being in the ground its first year. Just look at this fruit everywhere on this tree. It's just beautiful. And that's in the ground and doing well. Right behind it we have our Portugal Unknown, and it's also fruiting, giving us some beautiful fruit. Even though it's a second year fig tree and I just put it in the ground, it's going to give us about 10 to 12 figs this year. It looks like it's doing very well. And here's one of my favorite trees that I got from Tommy LaPiccolo. It's the Peter's Honey. And as you can see, there's just clusters of large fruit everywhere developing. If you look at this tree in the ground, as soon as I put it in the ground, it just started loading up with fruit. And when all this is ripe, we're looking about 50 Peter's Honey figs this year. Just loaded everywhere. Everywhere you see them, all the way up and down the tree. One of my favorite trees, one of my favorite tasting figs. And we come over to our Basilica Sicca. And we have beautiful figs on this tree in the ground, which are growing on all of the nodes. There's a big one down there. Look at the size of that one. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Very happy with this tree this year. It was a slow grower in the beginning, but now it really started growing vigorously. Look at those big figs up there we're going to have soon. Perfect. Next we have our LSU Champagne. And this was a little slow to take off, but we put it in the ground and look at all the growth on the bottom. Look at all that. I think I'm going to do an air layer with this about right there. And I'm going to make 2 trees out of it. And I'll have one of these LSU Champagnes available for one of my buddies. And we have just figs growing everywhere on this. As you can see, the tree's doing so well in the ground. And next we have another beautiful tree. This is our Italian 258. And as you can see, our mid-season growth is just doing so well on these trees. Look at these figs. You know, when I did the last video, we didn't have any figs. We just had the figlets coming out. And now you get to see full production. Look at that. Full production of figs being ripened on our fig orchard in-ground trees. Look at the size of those. And they're doing so well. Look at that. Another beautiful tree that we have here is our white Madeira #1. And you got to see the growth of figs, mid-season figs on these. There are figs everywhere. Just look at them. Look at the size of these figs. Look at how many. I got to brace this up. This is falling so heavy it's falling down. I'm going to have to brace that up with something so that the figs, when they get bigger, don't break the tree. And this tree is just amazing. It's putting out figs. The minute I put it in the ground, it started putting out figs. And we're going to get a lot of figs out of this tree this year. Maybe 50 to 60. Oh, here's one of my favorite trees. And we've been eating off this tree for the past, I'm going to say, 3 weeks. Ever since I put this tree in the ground, which is an LSU Gold, we've gotten seriously really big figs out of this tree developing. I mean, look at this. Look at the size of this fig. It's just large and juicy and tasty. Oh, we got another one down there. Look at that. Look at the size of that one. I'm going to pick that one today. Not ready to pick yet, but we're going to pick that one. Yesterday we picked about 5 off of here, and we have another 5 swelling today. It's every day it gives me 5. Guess 5 is our lucky fig number on this tree. And you just see it fruiting everywhere. And again, in 5 days, we'll have 5 more figs. Here's our Dave Sicilian, which is, I got this as a small tree last year. And I just wanted to put on growth once I put it in the ground. I don't see any figs on it yet. It was a slow grower, but you can see how beautiful the fig tree leaves are and how healthy the tree is. Very little beetle damage. See a little cut right here. I don't know if that's from the wind, but beautiful. So far, I haven't seen any spotted lanternflies in my yard. And there's another protector of our fig trees right here. That's bare. And you can see where we practice our archery. Right in the bear's chest. We practice here, shooting. Our next tree right here, I got this year is a 1-year-old tree, and it's our Jack Lily. And as you can see, it's only 24 inches tall, but it's producing. We got some large figs on there. We'll probably get about 5-6 figs from this year, but it's put in the ground and the leaves are doing great. The tree's doing great. And here's another great tree. This is our Figo Preto from Portugal. So we have a Portugal Unknown from Portugal and a Figo Preto. And this tree's taking off. It was a very small 24-inch tree. Now it's about 3 feet, producing fruit everywhere. Everywhere on the tree. Here's one of my favorite trees that I'm going to probably make 3 or 4 air layers next year because of the way it spreads out left to the right on the ground. I like my tree straight up, one trunk in the middle, branching off. So I'll be doing about 3 to 4 air layers on this next year. The fruit was so heavy on this side, I had to brace it up. You can see we have some large fruit coming in. Really large fruit. This tree's just amazing. Here's another some more large fruit on it. And it's an amazing tree. I love this tree. Here's some more fruit. And I'm hoping that we'll probably get about 5 long yellows off this tree this year. This fig tree. We've got a couple more cuttings growing in the summertime under what I call the shady fig tree. Okay, let's move on. Let's see how this tree's doing. This is our Brooklyn White. Now, I got this from a friend of mine early this year, and the leaves are dying. As you can see, it has a little sunburn there. But I put it in the ground, and look at the way it took off with all of the fruit that we're going to get from this tree, this Brooklyn White. And I'm going to leave this in the ground, and it can die back all at once, and it's going to grow again with new growth, and I'm going to get hundreds of figs again. Just doing wonderful. Let's see how this tree is doing. This is one of my favorite trees. This is my Teramo Unknown that I got from my friend Carlos down in South Jersey. And Carlos has really good specimen trees like Tommy LaPiccolo. And he knows a lot about fig trees and growing fig trees. And I got this tree from him a couple weeks ago, and it's just producing fruit after fruit after fruit. Every day I come out here, there's a new fig that I get to pick, such as right there. That'll be ready to pick today. And I've been eating from this Italian fig tree. For the next 3 weeks. Now, talking about in-ground fig trees, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to leave all these fig trees in the ground back here in my fig orchard and fruit orchard. I'm going to take out a couple of them in the ground. I'll take them out. I'll put them in burlap. I'll put them in my heated garage. I'll keep them moist all winter. Because some of these trees I don't want to die back, such as my Italian trees. My Italian trees from the Mediterranean, some of them are not cold hardy, so I don't want to ruin them. So I'll take a couple of my favorites that are early growers of figs, and I will take them out and put them in the garage. Just a couple of them, though. Here's my Ronde Bordeaux. I'm sorry, this is my Violet de Bordeaux. This is my Violet de Bordeaux. And as you can see, this was something that I just stuck in as a branch. I guess it didn't take it. No root development there. As you can see, it didn't take when I cut it, so we'll just toss it to the side. But what a beautiful tree. Look at the fruit that this Violet de Bordeaux is giving me, that beautiful purple color. And the figs are large, medium, I would say, compared to other fig trees. But you have a couple, what is this? This is bending over there already. And they'll be ready. These figs will be ready in about another week or two to pick. And this tree is just beautiful. Look how vigorous this tree is. Look at the leaves. There's no damage from any beetles or spotted lanternflies or anything. I mean, it's just no bugs at all. And you know what? It's giving some figs. And it's doing so well. And this Genovese Nero is one of my favorite fig trees for fig tastings. And I've had guests over and I've picked some figs, and they again say that even though the larger figs from LSU Gold or other large figs such as the brown turkey, they enjoy the smaller figs better because they have more sugar value in them. They enjoy the Teramo and the Neros and the Godfathers and the smaller figs that aren't so big and waterlogged and create more sugar for their size. Here's my Nero 600M from Italy. I love this one also. I don't know if I'll get any figs off this year. I'm going to create an air layer right about here. I'm going to cut it down to 3 feet. I'm going to leave it in the ground this year, take the air layer and stick it in the garage. This way I have one in ground and one in a heated garage. And I'm hoping that the in-ground one next year will give me some fruit. Here's my Teramo again. Here's one of the trees I just created an air layer from. And this is our Adriatic JH. It was very long and lanky and tall and bending over, as you can see. And I just cut it down this way. Looks like we have 3 figs on that this year. I don't know if they'll develop. The tree's very small, but I wanted tree growth this year. I wanted trunk growth. And as I always said, I like my trees to go straight up. not to the side. Here's another air layer that I just completed for a friend of mine. Azores Dark Sao McGill Roxo, which is the same thing. And as you can see, even though I cut the air layer off and it plucked all those figs on the upper air layer, I still have about 25 figs developing here that we're going to be able to harvest in late September, early October. And I'm happy about that. I got to take this 3 lanky tree and make it strong again. We'll see how that does. Here's my Kesariani from Greece. And this is a really good tree. A lot of people like it. It's my first year owning this tree. I got this from my friend Carlos again, and it's just amazing. He gives me these trees with this loaded fruit. What a great guy. This one's going to be ready soon. Look at that one. That's going to be ready soon. And we're going to be able to pick that and eat that. And then we have a couple more that may make it by the end of this year, but you know what? I'm going to leave this one in the ground, and next year we're going to see how it does. Here's another air layer I'm completing on the Godfather. When I do an air layer for people, friends of mine, family, I don't give them a small air layer. I give them a huge tree already that they can put. Look at the size of that air layer. You're looking at a 4-foot air layer for this tree. You know, when people request air layers and they request trees, or some of my friends that want to buy a couple trees from me, I give them this size air layer, 4 feet, and I give it to them for a good price, or I give it to them for free. And it comes with fruit, as you can see on the top. Look at all the fruit. It's just loaded with fruit, you know. And the roots of the air layer are just, let's check the roots out. If you can see the root growth on my air layer, as you can see, look at that. A little dry today, I'm gonna have to wet it. But look at the root growth on my air layers. Look at that. Because of the way I compact it, and because of the way look at how strong those roots are. They're thick and they're healthy. I'm gonna cut this one off today because you know what? This air layer is amazing. Look at that. And look how I just keep it a little bit moist. That's it. But look at it. It's a 4-foot tree that somebody's gonna have. Look at the leaves, beautiful, tons of fruit, healthy, not lanky, right? That's the Godfather. So we're gonna cut that off. I think I know somebody who might want that one. And they're gonna get a great tree, and I'm still gonna have 2 4-foot trunks for next year. Here's another great producer. This is my Violet Normandy. And look at how many figs this Violet Normandy is putting off, is producing once I put it in the ground. Because it's getting all those nutrients. Look at the fruit on this and all the vitamins from the ground. This is why I went to the in-ground method. Here's another air layer over here. This is my Sal's Corleone, and look at the size of this tree. Look at how vigorous it is. Look at the air layer with these figs up here. It all has figs. It's doing beautifully. Up there's one coming in now. Look at that. And they're going to get another beautiful tree with 3 limbs. I just did this air layer the other day. And it's just going to be beautiful, this tree. And I will still have a 5-foot tree over here. And finally we wind up with our tomato orchard, and you can see how many tomatoes. God, we've been picking tomatoes for 4 weeks now, and we just have so many. We've been giving them away. What I'm going to do next year, because we're getting so many figs and we're getting so many tomatoes, and next year we're going to have grapes. Look at how beautiful these tomatoes are. Look at that, just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. We have so many tomatoes that I'm gonna have look at these tomatoes, look. Beautiful. We bring them in and we put them in salads and we mix them with mozzarella and vinaigrette. And we give a lot away to family and friends, but next year, because we're gonna have 50 to 100 plants of tomato trees, I am gonna start my BC Fig Farm and Fruit Orchard farm stand outside of my property where people can pull up and they can have fresh tomatoes, fresh figs. And next year we are going to have, as you can see, I just stripped all this off for these grapevines to make sure we have good root growth for next year. Oh, this one fell over. I have to take this. This is my, you know what this is? This is a Tom Cord. If you ever had Tom Cord grapes from ShopRite, they're half green, half red, table grapes. They're sweet, taste like candy. I have 2 Tom Cord grapevines. As you can see, I just stripped off all. Here's my Concord seedless. That's gonna produce some wine for us. That's an old Concord seedless vine. We're gonna build a gazebo here next year and drape it over. And here's another white grape right here. Beautiful white wine grapevine. So we're gonna have white wine, we're gonna have red wine, and we have beautiful table grapes. I got this from Home Depot and it's just doing beautiful. Catawba grape, red grape, table grape, delicious from what I heard. And again, we have our Tom Cord grape. And these tomatoes are amazing. Look at them, just beautiful. Just beautiful. And like I said, I've been lacking in my tomato garden because I've been giving so much attention to my fig orchard that my tomato trimming, look at how nice that is, has been lacking. So, all right, guys, I've held you long enough today. Oh, we got one more fig tree I forgot. Hold on one second. We have our Deanna tree over here in the ground. And it's just doing so well. And look at the size of these figs. Look at them. They're just swelling now and they're big. And they're gonna be so juicy and sweet. And I just can't wait for these figs to come in. So, thanks for watching. This is Adam from BC Fig Farm and Fruit Orchard. If you like my content, subscribe, hit the like button. Here's our water we piped in. So we're able to water everything back in our orchard. And we're just going to keep adding to the fig orchard and the fruit orchard. We're going to add about 10 to 20 trees a year and go from there. Thank you for all of your questions and comments on YouTube. I appreciate all your support. Thanks for watching. And I will update you again on the progress of our fruit tree. Here's our Macintosh tree and fig orchard in the near future. Oh, by the way, that line that you see going through the middle of my fig tree and fruit orchard is for my kids. It's a 100-foot zip line, and I have one of the only zip lines going through a fig orchard for my kids, and they'll just love it. They love it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time, enjoy your figs. I know I'll be enjoying mine over the next couple weeks and months. Have a great day.